So I wanted to talk about the NBA as a whole and this new in-season tournament, which is gonna happen in starting next season, according to the CBA. Now, we've known that for a while the NBA has wanted to make a new in-season tournament, and they've wanted to spice things up. They've wanted to make the regular season a more complete experience. And I don't blame them for that, because it's gonna be something that even though there's gonna be a lot of people who are not gonna care and they're just gonna watch regular games and they're not gonna put any weight on that, there's gonna be some teams which are gonna have some incentive to win the in-season tournament, and in my opinion, even if yes, okay, let's face it, it's kind of excessive to have an in-season tournament which is going to give two teams an extra game in the season. It will, help viewership, because when a team reaches the end of the in-season tournament, the finals, right, then their fans are going to want to watch it. Like if the Heat are in the finals of the in-season tournament, right, I'm going to be watching that game. I'm sorry, but I am. I'm gonna put some importance, and I know that a lot of people are gonna be like, "Oh, I don't care if that happens," but I may not watch the entire tournament, but if it gets to the finals, I'm gonna be competitive for my team, and I want them to win. But it's gonna happen from December 7th to December 9th, right? And it's gonna start in November 3rd, right? And the championship is gonna take place in those days. It's gonna be a one game knockout, so it's like the NFL or or it's like football. I'm talking about European soccer, if you want to call it that. But so basically, the in-season tournament is gonna be 30 teams are gonna be drawn into five groups randomly within their conference, and it's going to be based on their win-loss records. Each team is going to play four groups, and whoever gets the top of their groups, right, two games at home and two games on the road, right, and then in the end the teams are going to play into knockout rounds, right, where there are going to be six groups and two wild card groups. So it's going to be like a bracket system. The rest of the teams are going to keep playing regular season games. And for those, I imagine those are going to be the best teams in the league. Because since you're going to get divided by, record, I would believe that maybe, let's say, the Nuggets and the Suns, since they are two of the teams which always have the best records in the league, since they're going to be facing off against each other, maybe the Suns eliminate the Nuggets, right? And then they move on to play the tournament, and then the Nuggets get eliminated. But think about also that this is like the tournament is yet to happen, so we've yet to see it. So a lot of people, including myself, don't know all of the details. But here it says 8 teams will advance to the knockout rounds. The team with the best standing, the group play games in each of the six groups, and two wild cards, right? So the wild cards. The wild cards is the team from each conference with the best record in group play games that finished second in its group. So if, let's say, Milwaukee finished second to Boston, but they have the best record in the East, then they're gonna get in because they're a wild card group. So it's gonna be 16 teams, right? And they're gonna consist of playing each other, and it's gonna be a one game knockout. And then in the end, they're gonna, I guess this is called the NBA Cup. The 67 games across both stages in the in-season tournament will count toward the regular season standings, except the championship. The team will continue to play 82 regular season games in the 2023-2024 season, including those games that are part of the group play and knockout rounds. 14 group play games, 2 games on each tournament night, and all 7 knockout round games will be televised nationally. Oh my God! Wait, I didn't know that. So as I'm reading this, I want to describe it well. So basically, here it says that each of these games is going to be televised. And in my opinion, this gives huge incentive to the league to actually, to teams to actually play in this tournament. Each of these games is going to be televised. Imagine if you're the Houston Rockets and nobody knows about the Houston Rockets. Like, people, Rockets fans know about the Houston Rockets. Me, people who watch the NBA know about the Rockets. But imagine if you could just go on that stage, right? If you're a team like the Pacers, and then you could win or get deep into the tournament and you have every game be a nationally televised game. That would make Tyrese Halliburton a big superstar, or it would at least increase his viewership, because let's face it, these small markets don't get that many nationally televised games. They only get them when they're playing like Phoenix, which has been a big team, or when they're playing Miami, the Lakers, Boston, right? People who actually do get these games. So this would be huge, right? So the game and the broadcast schedule for the in-season tournament group play stage will be announced in August. An overview of the group play schedule is available here. Okay. To determine each team's opponent in the group play games, the 15 teams in each conference were divided into 3 groups of 5 teams via random drawing. The groups are below. Okay, so these groups are already made. The groups are West A, West B, and West C. And I'm going to read them out for you right now. So we're doing a deep, in-depth dive of this tournament because we're finding out together. West A is the Grizzlies. So this is one group. So West A, West B, West C, East A, East B, East C. West A is the Grizzlies, Phoenix, Lakers, Jazz, and Portland. West B is Denver, Clippers, Pelicans, Mavericks, Rockets. West C is the Kings, Warriors, Timberwolves, OKC, and the Spurs. So it looks like these teams are good, and the talent is divided pretty equally. You know, that West A team is going to be a struggle to see who wins that one. East A is the Sixers, Cavs, Hawks, Pacers, and Pistons. East B is Milwaukee, Knicks, Heat, Wizards, and Hornets. And East C is the Celtics, Nets, Raptors, Bulls, and Magic. So these teams each one has at least one of the top 3 teams from last year, you know. And these teams are obviously divided by talent. That's no question. I think they did this intentionally to mix up the pool, you know. So, like, if you see here, then you will see that each team is divided by where their standings were. So each team has one of the bottom teams from last year. Each team has one of the top teams from last year. One of the second top teams. Each team has at least 2 playoff teams, right? And one play-in tournament team, and 2 teams which missed the playoffs. So that's how it seems to be divided by me looking at this. So these teams will face off, right? And yeah, oh yeah, that's how they divided it, right? Then the knockout rounds. In each conference, quarterfinals games will be hosted with the 2 teams with the best record in group play games. And the team with the best record in group play games will host the wild card team. During the knockout rounds, so it works basically like the normal NBA, playoffs, where it's like if the best teams face off against the wild cards, and then the mid-tier teams have to face off against good teams. The prize pool. Players on the championship winning team will earn $500,000 each. Players on the losing team of the championship, $200,000 each. Players on the losing team of semifinals, $100,000 each. And players on the losing team of the quarterfinals, $50,000 each. So this prize pool is around, I would say, $5 to $10 million. And league honors. At the conclusion of the in-season tournament, the NBA will name the most valuable player of the in-season tournament and the all-tournament team. This selection will be based on players' performances in both group play and knockout rounds. I don't think people are going to care much about this, because it depends on how much weight superstars put into this in-season tournament. But if they actually start caring, then we're going to see a new dynamic being added to league conversations. Of course, Michael Jordan, Larry Bird are still going to be great, Magic Johnson, but we'll see a new criteria for being great. How many in season tournaments have you won? If this would have been added 10 years earlier, then we would have been considering LeBron James the undisputed championship GOAT, and he would have bagged like $10 million just off of prizes. But moving on, I do want to say that this is a good thing. I like this, but the only thing that I don't like is that it adds an extra game to the championship round. But I guess it does solve that problem by giving money to the players who play that extra game. So even though you're going to be playing 83 games in a season, you are going to get $500,000 if you win and $200,000 if you lose. In my opinion, I think that the league is just trying to spice up the regular season. Let's face it, people watch, people go to these games, but there is not enough incentive to watch 82 games in a season. It's the same thing that happens with baseball, where it's like baseball has like 150 games. Why would you watch all those games? Right? It's just gonna generate much more. It's gonna be much more interesting. And even if you don't know what's happening and you don't know about the in-season tournament and you don't know how it's structured, right? You could still just be interested in teams and like going up in a bracket system. That's the simplest thing, right? So I like it because it's gonna give bad teams a chance to earn more money for their players. Is going to give teams a chance to try in the regular season, and is going to be given an incentive of money and prizes, right, which actually matter, like trophies and teams, which are now going to be appear probably in like Basketball Reference and these pages as actual awards. So I like it. It's going to add a new dynamic to the league. The only thing that I hope is that people don't laser focus on this and that superstars actually want to play in this. So I like the in-season tournament.